For more on the Swedish reaction, we're joined by Ann-Sofie Naslund. She's U.S. correspondent for Expressen. That's a Swedish newspaper, and we bet a good one. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I've seen a lot of speculation today as to what people in Sweden think. And my question is, I don't really know how you could get to the truth of that. Because in Sweden, as we were just talking about a minute ago, you can be punished, you can be imprisoned for giving an unpopular opinion. So in a society that practices censorship like that, are people free to really say what they think?
I mean, you talked about Peter Springer, one of the guys.
The policeman,
yeah,
that's exactly right.
Yep. That posted something on Facebook.
Right.
But, you know, that case was dropped straight away. So he's not under investigation anymore.
But he was, though.
He was for a little while, but then, you know, because someone reported on him, but it was dropped.
Right. And I'm glad he's free tonight. But he's a cop who said, look, the majority of the crimes I investigate are committed by immigrants, and he was investigated by your government for a crime. I mean, that's got to have a chilling effect, to put it mildly, on people's willingness to say what they really think, no?
But I think when you're talking about people going to prison for talking about these issues, as far as I know, that's only been Nazists.
Been what?
Nazists.
Bad people.
Oh, sorry, neo-Nazis and
Bjornquist? Well, I mean, there are probably people whose opinions I don't agree with, but there are people, and you might not either, but there's still people expressing their political opinions who've gone to prison for those opinions. And that's just foreign to us here, but it has an effect on what people are willing to say in public, don't you think?
I mean, there has been a discussion about what you can say in public, as you know, people are talking about here, what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say, and things like that. But I mean, obviously he posted this on Facebook, and all the media reported about it, and it's not like, you know, and nothing is going to happen to him. So you know, that's
well. But as a journalist, you can't be in favor of that, can you? I mean, people should be allowed to say what they think, shouldn't they?
Of course, and people are reading about it in the media now, and people are discussing it, and you know, it's all out there. It's not that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, so there's a book called Mass Challenge, which is written by this Kurdish economist, and I think it's one of the biggest-selling books in Sweden. The O'Carroll Library in Stockholm, which is a real library, I looked it up, refused to put this book on the racks because, and I'm quoting now the librarian, library collections ought to be characterized by diversity and pluralism. You're basically just saying we're not going to let people read the book because we disagree with it.
I don't know about why and if that's true that they don't have that book. Sorry.
But do you think, I mean, you're from Sweden. Mm-hmm. You've been here 4 years, so you can tell the difference between the two cultures. If I were at a party of educated people and said, you know, immigrants are committing a lot of crime, so they're much more likely to commit crime than a Swedish-born person, which is true, by the way. How would that go over? Would people say that's true, or what are the statistics, or would they say, how dare you say that?
I mean, right now, the situation in Sweden is that the crime rate is actually decreasing. And there are some numbers that are rising, like the gun violence, for example. But it's, as far as we know, and what studies show so far, is that has to do with people coming in from the EU, the European Union. It has, as far as we know, what it looks like, that has nothing to do with the refugees coming in. So you know, that really doesn't really have to do with.
Well, I don't know. I mean, so here's the Swedish National Council. I'm not making this up. BRA, it's what Ami was just saying. According to their stats, rape was up 13% last year, 2016. That's a big rise. Overall crimes were up in 2016, 6.5%. That's 1.5 million crimes. That's a lot of crimes.
Well, I don't know exactly where you got those numbers from.
From the Swedish National Council.
Yeah, okay. The numbers that we've been looking at, and I mean, I'm not here to defend Sweden or anything. I'm a news
I like
reporter.
Sweden. I'm not against Sweden.
Yeah, and you know, I'm a news reporter. But if you look at the overall numbers and what it's been going on for in a long term, the numbers are definitely going down. It's decreasing, but and actually one of the crimes that has been decreased the most during last year, that was rape. But also, if you look at rape in a wider historical perspective, or like 10 years or 15 years, there are some periods of time when it's gone up because the definition of rape and sexual assault in Sweden has been wider. So more incidents are now considering being rape and sexual assault. So that could be one of the reasons, if you look at your numbers, I'm not sure exactly what numbers you have, but that could be one of the reasons why it's now looks like it's been more of them when it's actually
because
just
the definition, right?
Yeah.
That may be true. Just again, these are government numbers from Sweden. This is not something that I cooked up in my office backstage. But the overall crime rate, they said in 2016, 1.5 million more crimes than the year before. But look, I mean, the numbers are pretty clear. Sweden stopped keeping crime stats based on national origin in 2001 because they were embarrassing. But when they did keep them, they showed, why else would they not keep them, that foreign-born men were far more likely, 4 or 5 times more likely to commit violent crimes, sex crimes, than Swedish-born men. I'm not saying they're all bad, but that's like a real thing. Are people allowed to say that there?
In 2015, the police started to put a special code for crimes that was related to a lot of people coming in as refugees.
Right, to the new wave of refugees,
And what we've seen so far, I mean, this has just been a short time.
Right.
It's just 1% of the reported crimes that has anything to do with refugees.
With those refugees.
Yeah, so it's not like it's been, I mean, I've heard you talking about this on your show, that it's been a crime wave or a rape wave. That is not what we see in Sweden, or the numbers that are reported in Sweden. Actually, was as I mentioned, it was 1% in that study.
For those refugees. But again, 13% crime spike in rapes, that's a lot. I mean, you could say, well, the definition is broadened, okay, but it's presumably there's still real rapes.
But also another side of that is when they ask women if they have ever been sexually assaulted or raped, that number actually rises a little bit. And one of the reasons for that was that maybe that was things that happened many years ago, and now they realize, oh, hang on, that maybe was a rape, and now they're saying, yeah, that happened to me. But the numbers, women reporting rape and sexual assault, that has not gone up.
Okay. I'm not sure I fully understand, but I appreciate the perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you.